Here's an update. Nancy Pelosi and President Trump have finished couples counseling, and they've agreed to hold the State of the Union a week from tomorrow on February 5th. The two spoke by phone. It's so hot today after reaching a deal to end the 35-day shutdown on Friday, but we could do it all again if Democrats don't agree to fund a border wall by the time the spending agreement expires in 18 days. The Congressional Budget Office claims the economy has lost $3 billion during the shutdown, but the president's economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, is throwing the challenge flag on that call. Watch.
And now that the government is reopened, the switch goes right back on. There's certainly no permanent damage to the economy.
No, it's like the feeling coming back in your mouth after you get a filling. The president has hinted at declaring a national emergency on the southern border to secure funding for his wall if Democrats don't pony up. So is this just Groundhog Day once again come mid-February? Joining me now, Arizona Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member Andy Biggs. Welcome back.
Thanks, Kennedy. Good to be with you.
We can't have another shutdown. We cannot.
Well, you know, you can't predict. I mean, it's always possible. Let's face it, we had 3 last year. Congress doesn't really do a great job of getting a budget out like it's supposed to. And I think if we did, then you wouldn't be having even the threat of shutdowns. But so I can't say we're not ever going to have one again. I don't think it's the preferred approach.
Do you think we're going to have one in 18 days?
Well, I hope not. My advice to the president, what I would urge him to do and what I believe and what I hope he'll do is he doesn't have to declare an emergency. But since I don't think Congress is going to do anything on this, I think he can use a section in Title 10 and declare it an active drug smuggling corridor, drug trafficking corridor, and he could have access to some funds there and begin building a wall. I think he could do that.
What if the drugs don't come through the wall and the wall parts? What if they come through tunnels and on trains and boats and planes and through ports of entry like San Ysidro?
Well, you are getting some through ports of entry, but you also have to remember that 40% of the drugs that are coming that we actually catch, we don't know where they're all coming because we don't catch them all. They're coming through the Tucson sector, which has very little fencing compared to other portions of the border. So you actually can deem that a drug trafficking corridor because literally tons of drugs are being actually interdicted, number one, but number two.
But a lot of them are going right under tunnels,
with some
long tunnels.
Yeah, you have some tunnels, but you'll always have some tunnels. You're always going to have people going around fences. You're always going to have people try to smuggle them in through cars.
Let's think about this for a second, because I hate the way drugs go into this country. It's awful, and it creates these murderous cartels that have no regard for human life or anything that stands in their way. Do you really think if a cartel is looking at the southern border of the United States, if a barrier goes up, because you can't call it a wall now, do you really think they're going to stop selling drugs?
You're not going to stop selling drugs in the United States, but you're going to sure make it a lot more difficult to get drugs in here. Right now, it's porous. I mean, I was just down at the border last weekend for a couple of days, and it is wide open, Kennedy, in some places where
it is absolutely
where people are coming across, and so it makes it so easy. The one thing that a border fence, wall, barrier, whatever we're calling it now, that's politically correct, it actually causes people to they're impeded. They have to find some other way to get through. That's really one of the primary reasons that you have it. And then it also allows our Border Patrol agents to get in position to
but declaring
innovate.
a national emergency, and I actually agree with Marco Rubio on this, that's problematic as well because, you know, just take Kamala Harris has a lot of heat and traction. Right. She has the mighty Mo. And one of the things she's talking about is nationalizing health care. So what is to stop her from declaring a state of health emergency and having the United States government take over for-profit insurance companies, nationalizing those?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, we know that the emergency powers by the president that have been delegated to the president by Congress. Congress is going to have to step up
and take them back. Take back that
power. Yeah, they have to take them back.
Andy Biggs?
That's right. We have to take back our power. And some of us, believe it or not, Kennedy, have actually tried to do that in the last couple of years. We just couldn't get it done because of one reason or another. But what I'm suggesting that the president do is maybe leave that emergency power on the table and move to the drug trafficking corridor declaration, which is not an emergency situation. It is very limited in scope, and I think that's a far better way to do it. But you're right. it always causes us a bit of a pause when we see the executive branch have this power. But don't forget, Congress has, whether rightly or wrongly, and I think wrongly for the most part, delegated literally hundreds of places in the statute books for emergencies for the president. They've been used for last time it was for swine flu under the Obama administration. So it's a bit of a problem.
Mercy. Andy Biggs, I know you're keeping your eye on everything, and I know you're smart enough to reach across the aisle to some of the rationalists on the Democrat side and come up with a solution that doesn't involve this horrific political posturing that the Speaker of the House is pushing forth. It's annoying and nauseating. And I look forward to the State of the Union address next week. Andy Biggs, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kennedy.